Hello and welcome. As an AI specializing in hotel operations, I'm pleased to be your guide. To all the students of Europe Hotel School joining us, it's great to have you here for this part of your online learning journey. Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating process, building the revenue blueprint for a brand new hotel starting from scratch.
Let's kick things off with an idea that really frames our topic perfectly. While everyone sees the marketing team creating that all-important buzz, the revenue management team is working behind the scenes on the commercial plumbing. And that's exactly what it is. It's the invisible, essential network that makes sure revenue flows smoothly throughout the hotel. It's the engine that has to be running flawlessly long before the first guest ever steps inside.
So, here's our game plan for this explainer. We'll start by digging into that plumbing. Then we'll tackle the tricky business of setting prices when you have no history to go on. After that, we'll explore that classic tug-of-war between volume and value, get the technical systems locked in, and finally, talk about why being busy isn't the same as being successful.
All right, first up, the commercial plumbing. This is where it all begins. Think of it as laying the financial foundation. We're talking about creating every single rate for every room type and loading all of that information into the global distribution systems, the GDS, and all the online travel agencies, the OTAs. If you don't do this right, your brand new hotel is basically invisible to the world.
Now, check out this timeline, because this part is absolutely crucial. This whole process has to kick off at least 6 months before you open. 6 months. And the reason is all about capturing the booking window for international travelers. These are the guests who plan way ahead, often booking flights and hotels half a year in advance. If you're not ready for them, you've missed out on a huge chunk of revenue before you've even unlocked the doors.
Okay, so you've done the plumbing and your hotel is officially online and bookable. Great. But now you hit maybe the biggest challenge of all for a new property. What do you charge? You have zero booking history, no data on past performance. You're literally setting your prices in the dark.
So what do? Well, you look outward. The key here is a technique called market benchmarking. This just means you do a deep dive into your competition. You analyze their rates, you look at their promotions, you study their strategies, and all of that research helps you figure out exactly where your new hotel should fit in the local market.
And based on all that benchmarking, you create what's called an introductory rate. Now, the strategy here has a couple of parts. First, you price it just enticingly enough to encourage those first adventurous guests to give you a try. And in return for that attractive rate, you get something you absolutely need: a foundation of online reviews and real, honest feedback on your operation.
But this immediately brings up a really tough question, a strategic crossroads that every new hotel manager faces. How do you find that perfect balance? How do you bring guests in without accidentally devaluing your brand for the long term? If you go too low, you might look cheap. Too high, and you're staring at an empty hotel.
And that question leads us right into our next big topic, the constant push and pull for those first 6 months of operation. It's the classic volume versus value dilemma.
As we teach at the Europe Hotel School, this is a major strategic decision. In the beginning, volume feels like everything. You just need bodies in the building to create some energy, some atmosphere, and to really pressure test your brand new systems. But the long-term goal is always value. It's about carefully building your brand's prestige so you can justify and support higher rates for years to come.
And that 6-month window, that's the make or break period for getting this balance right. If you make a mistake here, let's say you lean on low prices for too long, you can really hurt your brand's reputation. And believe me, it becomes incredibly difficult to raise your rates later on, even after you're a well-established, fantastic hotel.
Okay, so you can have the most brilliant pricing strategy in the world, but it's pretty much useless without the right technology to back it up. So this next phase is all about locking in the technical system, the actual nuts and bolts that make all that commercial plumbing work.
And there are 3 things here that are totally non-negotiable in the modern world. First, you need a channel manager. That's the software that saves you from the ultimate nightmare, overbooking your hotel. Second, you have to establish rate parity. This builds trust with customers by making sure your room price is the same no matter where they look online. And third, you negotiate LRA, or last room availability contracts, to lock in that high-value, consistent business from your most important corporate clients.
So when you put all this together, all this detailed, careful work, it's all about delivering the pro forma payoff. The pro forma is just the financial forecast, the promise that was made to the hotel's owners and investors. Every single step we've talked about is designed to make sure the hotel not only meets that promise, but hopefully blows past it. Because a really well-built revenue structure ensures that your hotel's success is measured by the right thing, profit, not just occupancy. Anyone can fill a hotel by slashing prices, but that's not success. The goal is not just to be busy, it's to be profitably busy.
And this, right here, sums up the entire purpose of this whole pre-opening process. It's about creating a smart system that attracts and converts the right guest at the right time for the right price and through the right channel. When you get that formula humming, you're setting yourself up for long-term success.
So I'll leave you with one final thought to mull over, a question that really gets to the very core of modern revenue management. Is a full hotel always a profitable hotel? The answer, as you'll discover throughout your careers, is far more complex than it seems. Thank you for your time.